NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, is one of the hottest topics and was some of the hottest assets in 2022. I made a lot of money trading them and then lost most of it. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to do NFT analytics, how to actually get NFT data and do some simple analysis with the data. We're going to look at the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which was one of the biggest, and still to this day is one of the biggest NFT projects out there. And we're going to see who the biggest winners and the biggest losers are. By the way, if you are new here, my name is Avery Smith, and I am building 30 data science projects in 30 days. And I'm trying to give you guys all of the resources, the data, and any code files that I have. You can check those out by checking the description down below. And by the way, I have a brand new course out on how to make projects where I take all of these ideas. All these data sets are found inside of the course. You can check that in the link description down below. So basically, I try to do a project every day. And today, I've actually had a really busy day. Watch this. I am driving to Salt Lake City to go hang out with a lot of awesome data content creators. So today's really busy. I don't know when the heck I'm gonna have time to do a project, but hopefully I can make time. Guys, it is 9:13 p.m. and I haven't even started the project. So I really need to bust this out quick. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this challenge is to hopefully be an inspiration to you guys that if I can do 30 data science projects in 30 days, you can do one in 30 days. And sometimes that means even when you're with your friends, I have like 20 of my friends over in next door, and they're all going hot tubbing right now, all my data friends. But I need to make a video. I need to make a project. I need to have it done. So hopefully you guys can take some inspiration from that. But let's go ahead and hop into an NFT crash course for just the next 30 seconds. NFTs are basically digital assets. You can buy them, trade them, sell them on the internet. They're all hosted on the blockchain, and many of them have been like little animals. They don't necessarily need to be, but that's what they've been. The hope is to buy these digital assets when they're undervalued and then sell them when they are overvalued. You can make some money. So I got this data set from my friend Mark Freeman. You can definitely go check out his YouTube channel, and is a great content creator on LinkedIn and data space. And it is called the Nft Analyst Starter Pack, which was created by a company that Andreessen Horowitz owns. It's called A16 or something like that. This tool allows you to download the transfers, the sales, and the metadata of different NFT projects with just the contract address, and you can export it via CSV. You'd actually think getting NFT data would be really easy because it's all on the blockchain, but it's actually quite difficult, and there's not a whole lot of resources that allow you to bulk export NFT data that at least is free. This tool is one of the free tools that allows you to do that. Mark helped me get that data. It isn't the easiest tool to use, but definitely check it out. I'll have the link to that tool inside of the link description down below. Sign up for the resources, and the resources will include that link to the data set. We're going to try to find the people who benefited the most, who are the winners, and we'll find the losers too for the Bored Ape Yacht Club. We're going to be analyzing that project, so let's go ahead and hop into it. Guys, obviously I'm not in my usual office. I am at this data science creator meetup, so we're staying at this Airbnb, and I had to bring my laptop, and my laptop's really old, and apparently it's so old that it is having a hard time running Python. As you can see, I'm unable to launch Anaconda Navigator. I don't know, Spider's not working. So this is what happens sometimes when you're trying to make projects, is you run into big roadblocks like this, but I'm going to push through it. You can see it's 10:45. I'm really going to try to get this project done, but man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Update, I just tried launching Jupyter Notebook from my terminal, and I got it to open somehow. So we're going to be doing this project in Jupyter Notebook. So when doing a project, one of the first things I try to do is think as the questions I'm actually trying to answer. In this case, we don't have a lot of time. I have 3 bullet points that I'm trying to answer. Who overpaid the most for rarity? So like, who bought an NFT, spent a lot of money, and they overpaid for what they actually got? Okay. 2, who owns the most? I think it's always interesting to see how many they own, who that person is. And 3, what is the biggest winning trades and losing trades? Who's someone that, you know, bought an NFT for cheap and sold it for expensive, or bought expensive and sold for cheap, stuff like that. So the next step was to actually import the data. We have 3 CSVs that comes from this data set: the sales, the metadata, and the transfer data. So quickly looking at the sales, you have the transaction hash, the date, the asset ID. This is going to be like the thing that identifies the individual NFT. You have the seller and the buyer, as well as the taker. And I think the buyer and the taker should be about the same. You have the sales price in ETH and the sales price in USD. Then for the metadata, you have the asset ID. So note that the asset ID up here can be joined with the asset ID here, and that'll basically give it an attribute count rarity score, hat rarity score, background rarity score, all these different clothes, what they're wearing. This basically is descriptions about the actual NFT, but finally at the end there is an overall rarity score which we'll be using. Okay. Next, we have the transfer data, and this is when something was not sold, it was transferred, which means it was basically sent from one wallet to another. I don't know if we're actually really going to use this all that much. We're going to use the metadata and the sales data a lot more. So I started by taking on the question about who overpaid the most for what they got. So who got the worst NFT for the most money? That sort of ratio right there. So what I did is I needed to join the sales and the metadata. So in the metadata, we have this awesome column right here called the overall rarity score. And then of course in the sales data, we have that sales price, which I did in USD. Now, so I needed to join those two. I joined those two. Once I had both of those columns, I could then take the sales price and divide it by the overall rarity score, so that the higher the sales price and the lower the score, the higher the dollar per rarity, which basically means you got a less of a deal. The lower the number here, so for instance, if you paid very little and you had a high score, you would have a low number. So low number equals good, bad number equals high. I then also wanted to create a column that would basically take you to the OpenSea. OpenSea is like basically where NFTs are stored. You can see them. And so I created a URL creator that would basically add a link to each one of these assets. Then I found the top 10 lowest values, which is actually the top 10 highest values in terms of the dollar per rarity score. And I showed that in a table down below. So for instance, this particular asset, 1859, has a dollar per rarity score of, it looks like 15,000, so pretty high. The asset is 3001, and the sales price looks like a 1.2 million, which only had a rarity score of 79. So this was paid a lot for, and it doesn't have a high rarity score. We can go ahead and click on the link right here and see this NFT and see who owns it. And in this case, it is actually Justin Bieber. So Justin Bieber bought this because it reminds him of himself. It's like a lonely, like his album and his song, and he's crying. I don't know. So he thought that this ape kind of resembled him and looked like him. So even though it wasn't rare, he decided that he wanted to pay quite a bit for it. And we can do that with the other NFTs as well. We can see that these were all paid. It looks like 2.8 million, 2.1, 2.8. 2.8 is a lot. This was a pretty rare one, but it was pretty expensive. You see that it is kind of this golden monkey with this hat on. We can see some of these other ones. For instance, this looks like $390,000 for a not that rare. Actually, let's do this one. This is $428,000 for not that rare. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's owned by Happy Song. Looks like a pretty plain monkey if you ask me. We can click on this right here and that'll take us to this owner's. I'm not exactly sure if this is someone famous or not. They definitely have, these are all really good NFTs right here. So they have some good stuff in their storage. Now I'm going to teach you a valuable principle that I really emphasize in my course, Data Science Project Studio, which is brand new, linked in the description. But that is, a finished project is the best project that you can do. Now, I originally set out to answer 3 questions. I wanted to talk about overpaying for rarity, who owns the most of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and the biggest winning and losing trades of this series, like who's actually made a really big flip on the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And that was my original goal when I set out. But now it is 11:28 p.m. I'm really tired. I have a big day tomorrow as I have office hours for MIT that I teach, and I also have a big day spending more time with data science content creators in Salt Lake City on this kind of retreat that I'm on. And I'm tired, and I still have to post this YouTube video and do all the details. So instead of finishing the project later, instead of doing who owns the most and the biggest winning and trading loses, I'm actually just going to call the project good right now. I'm going to publish it as it is. Yes, I know I didn't cover that much, but this is an interesting analysis that we did, and it's much better to actually have it being published than not published at all. So there's a lesson here. The best data science project is one that you finish. And of course, I didn't actually finish this one, but instead of having it sit on my machine and just, stay there for days, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to publish what I have, and I can always come back to it and add to it if I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this YouTube video as is, and you'll have all the resources in the link in the description down below. But obviously, I didn't actually finish it. And you guys can take this project and try to answer those 2 questions and make it your own and publish it as your own data science project. This project took me about 2 hours to do, to get all the data, to plan the story, and to actually do the Python analysis. So it could probably take you about the same. Now, I want to give a shout out to Mark Freeman, once again, for helping me get this data set. Go ahead and check out his channel in the link in the description down below. Also, you guys can watch all the rest of these videos over here. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.